Yeah, my man in the video, I don't know him personally, but his views are skewed. Yeah, we not supposed to be looking at marriage as no technology. You can say that for your iPad. Yeah, say that for your Tesla. Yeah, but marriage is not technology. If anything, it's tradition. Yeah, but we so far off in left field. Yeah, we got to get ourselves straightened out or we're going to be doomed. Go ahead, Vince, and then we're going to flip up.
But I think that's what we have lost in the Black community.
For sure.
We have lost tradition.
Facts.
We have lost family. For me, I always wanted to be married because I see my grandparents and how their life was when I was around and how their life ended. I'm a very logical, practical person. Most of the men I've seen that were married for a long time and dad had better lives. So I'm going to think, well, if I get married, I have a better life because that's what I've seen. But we also have to understand these last few generations, we have raised some of the most selfish people in the world. It's all about self. Everything is self. Have y'all seen that? Everything is self.
Sure.
Self-love. Self this, self that. My own peace, my own happiness. Don't care about nobody but yourself. So in actuality, I would say no. Men don't need to get married. And I will have a short answer and a long answer. The short answer will be no. The long answer, just like I tell my boys, you better do some thorough, in deep, intense investigation and therapy and counseling. Y'all better get everything on the floor. How many kids you want? How much money y'all want to make? The main one, who is going to take the hit when we start having kids? Who's going to make the sacrifice? That's the main problem I see. This whole Beyonce, Jay-Z power couple thing, it don't work. Somebody got to make a sacrifice. That's the main thing I see. And then when I'm working 15 hours, you working 15 hours, that's when the separation comes. And then it's the year. Then it's 5 years. Then it's 10 years because you want to build this career. Who's going to make the sacrifice? You better get it out front early. And most of the time, it needs to be the woman because the man usually can't do it. Because it is so hard for a woman to respect a man that makes less than them. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So my thing is, the short answer is no. The long answer is therapy and at least a year of intense counseling with no pastor. Somebody y'all both don't know that's not going to tell y'all happy wife, happy life. Pray. Seek God. No, I need some. No, where is your father? How is your relationship with your father? How is your relationship with your mother? That's what we need to be asking. So no. So my short answer is no. My long answer is therapy.
Okay, let me come
Can
to
I
John
address
Neese
Mr.
then.
Vincent?
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go
Let
ahead,
John
John.
Neese go
Go ahead.
first.
Well, I'm gonna go to her
So,
because she
Mr.
got a
Vincent.
question
No,
that got posed to her
only
too.
thing I was going to say to Vince, because I do actively date, and you know how that question about like your parents, like what's your relationship with your mom and what's your relationship with your dad. I feel like I'm just going on because I just heard that part. I feel like that's a tricky one for me, especially since I was raised by both parents and my dad was like an excellent dad. A lot of men that I've come in contact with, even the good ones, they a lot of them never had a daddy. Um, I don't know. I think that's a hard one nowadays, the daddy and the mommy one. But there is a difference in the men that do have parents and the ones that don't have a good relationship with their father. There is a difference. But that's a hard one to like avoid nowadays. And then even think about the one that you had on the show a couple weeks ago. A lot of women, which that's a whole nother thing going on, using, IVF and creating babies without even a father, So I
Right.
mean that's a whole nother thing that's gonna be in the next generation. How is that gonna be when you just really can't find your daddy?
Right.
Yes. So
I'm perplexed. I don't. I want to say that men shouldn't get married anymore. But society does better when we have a traditional mindset of marriage.
right.
And then what makes it so perplexing is I'm looking like that. I look at that lawyer that spoke earlier, the divorce lawyer that spoke earlier, and I see everything that he's saying, and I think he may be off, but then he's not so far off that you can't hear what he's saying and take the truth out of it. And so this is why I'm perplexed. So listening to the panel tonight, listening to the conversations, the watching the videos, I'm going to correct one thing that I said earlier, and I meant what I said, but I should have been more thorough with it. I talked about the churches, I talked about the counselors, and I talked about all the structure that we should avoid. Well, avoid the bad ones, that is. Even though there's a lot of bad ones out there, first you kind of remind me there are some good ones, and we should find the good role models. But to get back on topic, no, I don't think. To get back on topic, I think that marriage itself, in the traditional sense, the world don't want it anymore. If the world doesn't want traditional marriage, I cannot advise a man to get married.
Yeah.
It's just more difficult. It's just too difficult. And Will and Jada is kind of like an example of a modern day marriage. What she put this man through is just, and I'm not gonna blame just Jada alone. Will allowed it to happen. Will allowed this chaos to happen.
For sure.
So I mean, they both equally get the blame. I think the problem with Jada is she talks too much. She don't want to keep everything. She don't know how to keep things private. Will is just as bad as far as he allowed a lot of things to happen. But what I give Will credit for is that, like most men, we keep our private life private.
That's real.
And I land my plane there.